Hello, I'm Camelia and this is Kini News. Wan Saiful has reiterated his call for the Speaker to announce the vacancy of the 6 seats belonging to their former members. Bersatu Supreme Council member Wan Saiful Wanjan said Dewan Rakyat Speaker Johari Abdul has no choice but to announce the vacancy of 6 seats now that Bersatu has terminated the memberships of its rogue MPs. In a post on Facebook, he said Johari would want to ensure continuity in the implementation of rules in both parliamentary houses. He warned that if not, the country could face a constitutional crisis. Wan Saiful said he was sure that Johari wants to be known as a person who sticks to the principle of the legislative body's independence from the executive body and is free from influence from political parties. He added that with that principle, he is sure Johari also understands and realizes that he has no choice but to declare the 6 MP seats in the Dewan Rakyat vacant as well. He said if this precedent is not respected or not followed in terms of uniformity, there may be a serious constitutional crisis as a result of not following the established precedent. Wan Saiful said this following Kelantan State Assembly Speaker Mohd Amar Nik Abdullah's announcement earlier today on the vacancy of the Nenggiri state seat. Earlier, the Kelantan Speaker had announced that the Nenggiri state seat was vacant. This came after Bersatu on June 12 informed that Azizi's membership had been revoked. Kelantan Speaker Mohd Amar Nik Abdullah announced the vacancy of the Nenggiri state seat today, effective immediately. He said this is in accordance with Clause 1 Article 31A of the Kelantan State Law that there is an unexpected vacancy in the Nenggiri State Assembly seat represented by Muhammad Azizi Abu Naim. He added that according to Clause 4(4 Article 31A, vacant seats must be filled within 60 days from the date the Election Commission receives the vacancy notice. He said the decision was made after the Kelantan State Assembly received a written notice from Azizi on June 13th. Apart from that, he said Bersatu on June 12 also informed that Azizi's membership had been revoked and subsequently the seat is vacant. Azizi, who is also Gua Musang MP, is among the 7 Bersatu lawmakers whose party membership was terminated for voicing support for the ruling Madani government. Harian Metro had quoted Azizi as saying he was not surprised by the announcement. Azizi said he did not want to comment further and will bring the matter to court. Bersatu earlier amended its party constitution to stipulate that any elected representatives who defected would automatically cease to be a party member. In doing so, the defectors will also trigger the anti-hopping law per Article 49A of the Federal Constitution and their seats will be vacated. 5 family members of the Ulu Tiram attacker have been charged with terrorism activities. 5 family members suspected of being involved in the Ulu Tiram police station attack last month, which killed 2 police personnel and injured another, were brought before the Johor Bahru Sessions Court today on terrorism-related charges. The charges against the 5 were read before Judge Cik Wan Zaidi Cik Wan Ibrahim, but no pleas were recorded from the 5 accused because the case comes under the jurisdiction of the High Court. According to the charges, Radin Imran Radin Muhammad Yassin, who is the father of the suspects, is accused of encouraging terrorist acts by instilling the ideology of terrorism linked to the Islamic State terrorist group to his wife, Rosna, his 2 sons, including the suspect Radin Lukman Radin Imran and Romula, and his 2 daughters, Farha and Maria. Imran was also charged with 3 more charges of supporting terrorist acts by keeping 4 air rifle-type firearms to carry out IS activities, as well as pledging allegiance to the leader of the terrorist group, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, and possessing a book related to IS. Meanwhile, the second accused, Romula, who is also the suspect's brother, was charged with 2 charges of swearing allegiance to the IS leader and possessing an external hard disk containing materials related to IS and its activities in the same location. The suspect's mother, Rosna, who is a Singaporean, the suspect's sister, Farha, and the suspect's younger sister, Maria, were each charged with 1 charge of deliberately omitting information regarding crimes related to terrorism. The court fixed July 31st for case mention and to appoint a lawyer. The Johor Bahru court complex saw heavy police presence as early as 8 a.m. today in anticipation of the charging of the suspects. PAS has slammed Tengku Zafrul over an UMNO banner at a Klang Mosque event. The party's Selangor youth chief said the political agenda of the event was clear by the display of an UMNO banner at the venue. Selangor Pas youth has slammed UMNO Minister Tengku Zafrul Abdul Aziz for politicking at a mosque in Klang by carrying out ibadah korban for Hari Raya Aidiladha on Monday. Its chief Muhammad Sukri Omar said Selangor Pas youth condemned the Kota Raja UMNO Division's act of using a mosque for political means by holding the korban event at the Masjid An-Naim Mosque in Jalan Kebong, Klang. He said the political agenda of the event was clear by the display of an UMNO banner at the venue. In a statement, he said this clearly goes against the decree by the Selangor Sultan banning political parties from politicking in places of worship. Sukri further urged all quarters to do politics maturely and peacefully. He said mosque needs to be a place for the community to unite, regardless of party background, race or social status. The Selangor Islamic Religious Council, MICE, has imposed a ban on politicking in mosques or surau in the state. Any action that insulted, disobeyed, violated or disputed the orders of the Selangor ruler or instructions by MICE can be prosecuted according to Section 12 bracket A or bracket B of the Sharia Criminal Offences bracket Selangor Enactment 1995. A lawyer has appealed for the Yang di-Pertuan Agong to make the Batu Putih RCI report public. Hanif Khatri said this is so that Malaysians can know the truth behind the withdrawal of the appeal at the ICJ by former Premier Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. A lawyer has appealed to Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar to make public the latest report by the Royal Commission of Inquiry into the sovereignty issues over Batu Putih, Middle Rocks and South Ledge. In a media statement, Muhammad Hanif Khatri Abdullah said this would allow the public to ascertain whether the RCI's recommendations truly followed the Agong's decree over the Commission's terms of reference. He added that this will also allow Malaysians to know the truth behind the 2018 action by then Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad administration in withdrawing Malaysia's appeal to the International Court of Justice. He also said Malaysian citizens can see whether the establishment of the RCI is truly genuine and sincere. Therefore, he said with full humility, he appeals for His Majesty to issue a royal decree for a copy of the Batu Putih RIC report to be given to all parties involved, including Mahathir as the Premier at the material time when the review to ICJ was withdrawn. He said this is so that any comments and responses over the finality of the Batu Putih RCI report can be done before it is revealed. He added this is also so any addendum can be added if needed, be printed in the finalized Batu Putih RCI report, and then be revealed for the general public's reference. Yesterday, Bernama reported earlier that RCI chairperson Mat Raus Sharif presented the report to the King at Istana Negara during an audience lasting nearly an hour. QPAX has told Azam Baki to not link civil servants' pay hike to curbing corruption. Adnan also stressed that one should not question the integrity of civil servants just because a handful of them engage in corrupt activities. The Congress of Unions of Employees in the Public and Civil Services criticized MACC Chief Commissioner Azam Baki for insinuating that the proposed pay hike for public servants was to curb corruption. Berita Harian reported QPAX President Adnan Mat as saying that they disagreed when someone sees the proposed pay hike in the context of curbing corruption. He said if you look at media reports, the corrupt come from all walks of life, not only civil servants. Adnan stressed that one should not question the integrity of civil servants just because a handful of them engage in corrupt activities. He added that when it comes to eradicating graft, QPAC acknowledges MACC's track record and would always cooperate with the agency. As for the pay hike, Adnan stated that the government decided to narrow the gap between civil servants' income and the higher cost of living. He said it has nothing to do with curbing corruption. Right now, the income gap between the lower grades, civil servants, and higher ones is too wide. Yesterday, Azam said poverty and low wages are not the top factors contributing to corruption. Azam emphasized that corruption happens because of greed, opportunity, and issues with governance. He said if people think that corruption happens because of low salaries, his recommendation to the government is to be careful about that. Malaysia Kini released an interactive story today on how much pensions MPs can receive. Using open data, the article attempts to estimate the figure awaiting MPs elected in the last two general elections once they retire. Check it out at newslab.malaysiakini.com/mp-pension. If you'd like access to news like this and more, subscribe now to Malaysia Kini and support independent media. You can also donate to Kinitv by scanning the QR code on the screen. That is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm Camelia. Thanks for watching.